So what if the biggest thing holding you back in your career isn't your skill, but your whole strategy? Today, we're going to explore this really powerful leadership model that boils down to one crucial question. Are you playing the game like a pawn, or are you starting to move like a queen? This one sentence. Wow. It just gets right to the heart of a problem so many of us face, right? We're taught that humility is this great virtue, that we should just let our amazing work speak for itself. But what happens when your work isn't speaking loud enough? What if that humility is actually making you invisible?
Well, that leads us right into a trap called quiet competence. It's this deep-seated belief that if you just put your head down, you do excellent work, the rewards, the recognition, all of it, it'll just follow automatically. It sounds right, doesn't it? But honestly, in today's complex workplaces, being the best-kept secret is pretty much never the path to success.
And that is the invisibility trap. To really see how it can derail a career, let's jump into a real-world case study. So this is the core belief of someone who's playing like a pawn. You know, in chess, pawns are super reliable, they're hardworking, they're absolutely essential. But they also have the most limited movement on the board. It's the perfect metaphor for professionals who think that pure effort is going to lead to advancement. They're just kind of waiting to be noticed, waiting for a path to clear, instead of creating one themselves. Okay, so let's break down what a real pawn's game looks like. And this isn't just some story, it's a strategic look at what happens when a massive opportunity collides with quiet competence. Picture this. It's 2018, and the opportunity of a lifetime just lands in your lap. Shiela Cancino was invited to represent Bermuda at the World Chess Olympiad. I mean, this is it, the kind of career-defining moment most of us can only dream about. But there was a huge problem, a really big one. She hadn't played a long competitive game of chess in almost 10 years. Now, she was busy, I mean super busy, with her career, with life coaching, with Toastmasters, but she wasn't ready. All that activity wasn't preparing her for this one, very specific, high-stakes moment. The opportunity showed up, but her skills for that particular game, they were rusty. And check out the advice she was relying on. As long as you did your best, the result doesn't matter. This is classic pawn thinking, right through and through. It's a mindset that's focused 100% on effort, on performance. And look, it's well-intentioned, for sure, but it's not a strategy from winning. It's just a strategy for trying hard. So what happened? Well, she put in the work, she crammed all her preparation, and she won 4 games. That's a pretty respectable outcome for someone who's been out of practice for so long. But she missed getting the candidate master title by just one more win. Her best effort took her far, but it just didn't take her to that highest level of recognition. But you know what? That near miss, it actually became this incredibly powerful catalyst. It led to the creation of a solution, the pawn-to-queen visibility framework. This is the roadmap out of the invisibility trap. So the framework lays out 4 really clear stages. You start as the pawn, head down, totally believing that good work is enough. Then comes the awakening, that big aha moment when you finally realize your effort isn't translating into influence. Stage 3 is positioning, and this is where you stop hoping and you start planning. And finally, you reach the queen stage, where you're not just doing the work anymore, you're actually shaping the entire conversation. This is the fundamental mindset shift. The pawn thinks, my work will speak for itself, but the queen knows, my work needs my voice. It's the huge difference between waiting around to be noticed and actively creating opportunities to be seen. It's that move from passive hope to active strategy. Okay, so how do we translate all this into action? Let's distill this framework into a couple of key leadership insights you can start using right away. First, and this is a big one, busyness is not the same as influence. Remember Shiela? She was incredibly busy with work and all these other projects, but none of that activity was aligned with preparing for her single biggest visibility opportunity. So many of us fall into this trap, right? We fill our days with tasks, but we fail to position ourselves for the strategic rooms and conversations that really matter. Second, exposure expands your perspective. That Olympiad experience, even without the big title, was the real prize. It was this high-stakes moment that forced an awakening. It just lit up the gap between performing well and being positioned to win. Sometimes you have to step onto a bigger stage just to see your own blind spots. And this brings us to strategic positioning. And listen, this is not about bragging. It's about being deliberate. It means you stop letting your work speak for itself and you start telling its story. You figure out who holds the keys to your next step, and you make absolutely sure they know who you are and what you bring to the table. It's about being the architect of your own reputation.
Okay, so that's enough theory. How do you actually apply this? It's time to make your move.
I want you to ask yourself this question, and be really honest. Are you just waiting to be noticed, hoping all your hard work will be enough? Or are you actively positioning your contributions, owning your narrative, and creating those opportunities for visibility? Because in chess and in your career, staying still is just not a strategy. Competence without visibility will always limit your influence. At the end of the day, movement is what changes the board. It's time to make your move.